Welcome back for another video. I'm Eharbad, a free-to-play and game player in Raid Shadow Legends, and today is episode 37 in the free-to-play challenge series for 2023. There's a couple of things that I want to go through in this video. Really, we're going to talk Fusion and we're going to talk Demytha. So let's start with the fun stuff. Demytha. 25 voids for a guaranteed Demytha. I've thought long and hard about it, and I've decided I will go for Demytha. 25 shards for a top tier epic, I think, is generally worthwhile. And although I don't need her for clan boss, as I already have that under wraps, I don't have a really good healer, a really good team healer. And I feel like Light of the Deep could work really nicely. I have quite a lot of buffs within my team from people like Razulvarg, and I think, having a champion that can increase duration of buffs is really useful, but also I can get quite large heals coming from this Light of the Deep skill. In addition, her block damage also brings a continuous heal for 2 turns, which is actually adding quite a nice additional heal. And there are instances where I think this block damage itself can be really useful. Failing anything else, she'll be useful for Dwarf Faction Wars as well. So I think there's a lot of elements where Demytha is going to work very nicely. Now, to talk briefly about the Fusion, I don't think that I will be going for the Fusion. I don't think the champion's very good. I don't think she brings enough to the game to be of interest, even for an early game account. I don't really value decrease resistance. I would prefer increase accuracy or decrease accuracy. I think they're generally more useful abilities than decrease resistance. I don't like the fact that this is block debuffs by itself. If it brought some kind of team heal or like an increased defense, then it would be pretty useful and pretty interesting. There aren't many champions that do a TM fill, block debuffs, and increased defense. In fact, I can only think of one. So there were instances where Great Hoof could have been a interesting champion, and she might get buffed in the future. You never know. But can I be bothered to go through, given if we jump over to the schedule, what they have done? I mean, other people have made videos about it. I'm not going to dwell on it too long. We've got 2 summon rushes, which is itself a bit of a joke. But even beyond that, even if we discount the fact that there's 2 egregious summon rushes, which we've never seen before, let's ignore that for a second and look at this massive energy drain that we've got over the weekend here, both Dragon and Champion training ending tomorrow morning at point of recording. And this doesn't actually overlap very well with Dungeon Divers, to be honest. So you kind of lost a lot of impact from your energy on the Thursday and Friday if you were waiting for Dungeon Divers. Ice Golem is a trash dungeon in general, and essentially we're going to be in a position where you'd have to do quite a lot of Ice Golem in Dungeon Divers. In fact, the Ice Golem, once again overlapping with the champion training, it's not well laid out, in my opinion. The second half looks much better. We've got Fire Knight, Spider, and the second Dungeon Divers. That is perfect. You can pretty much do that full Dungeon Divers by going hard on the Fire Knight and Spider. So the second half of this looks fine, but the beginning looks horrendous, if I'm honest. And like I said, the fact that it's double Summon Rush, where both of them are mandatory, unless you win an event, really just adds to it. Now, if we jump back into the game, there is one small consideration. Since we're going for Demytha, we will, even then, we will not get the second set of fragments unless we pull 500 mysteries or an additional sacred, etc. So even the guaranteed Demytha isn't enough to get the full fragments. And then on top of that, the only other argument to go potentially for the Fusion on this account would be if you could win a tournament. Now, Dragon isn't going to happen. I'd have to run this overnight with gems to get that done. But technically, champion training, not too difficult, I don't think, my group to win. But given I haven't gone for Dragon, I suspect it's going to be a pass. Like I said, the champion itself, not that interesting. Don't even think she brings that much for Faction Wars, which is really the mark of an underwhelming legendary when you're not even looking at the legendary as being a good, ultimately a good Faction War champion. Like, she'll do okay, but she's not going to change anything. She's not going to unlock the faction crypt for me. So that's really my view on the champion. I might at some point do a video about the state of the game. I do have to be honest, the reason I haven't been recording as much over the last, say, month or two as I was at the end of last year and the beginning of this year is I have lost a little bit of love for the game. Partly running 2 accounts is proving quite difficult, quite challenging. But equally, a lot of the decisions player are making are, let's say, questionable at best. And if that is a video that interests you, if you'd like me to give a little bit of a discussion about the state of the game, which areas I think are done well, which areas I think could be improved, then please let me know in the comments, and that's something I can try and put together. And if I do it, I will certainly include some thoughts about how those areas that I think are underwhelming could be improved. If I do that, I will make sure it's done in such a way that is realistic, and that it would be something that a games company who are obviously trying to make money, even though I'm a free-to-play player, that would actually fit within their design of the game and in the economy. But yeah, so if it's something that interests you, that you want my perspective on it, please let me know in the comments, and I'll try and put together a video about that. Anyway, enough waffling on and delaying of the inevitable. We are here, Void Shards 25 to pull, a Demytha guaranteed, and to be honest, I hope we get a champion along the way that is of interest. There is quite a good 10x going on right now, to be honest. Shamil, obviously amazing. Tahanarak, very, very, very good champion. And I would say actually extremely good as a progression champion. Obviously, a lot of the other major Void legendaries are phenomenal. And there's actually a number of really top tier Void epics. Pulling 25 outside of a 2x, I'm not expecting much, but let's see what we get and hope for something interesting. Epic out the bag. Uragrim, good champion, but not really what I need necessarily, but I think will help a lot with Faction Wars, so pretty happy with that. Cagebound can be useful in Faction Wars. Painkeeper, excellent champion, can be very useful in Faction Wars as well. Not really the best set of 10 champions overall, because obviously we're hoping to get a little bit extra on the epic side. I know we can't expect to get too many. We only are on a 10x, we're not on 2x. So obviously we're going to be greedy, and obviously we'd hope at some point maybe we'll get a legendary. But let's pull the other 10. It's not bad, pretty good start. Let's hope we get another epic. I do have a Paragon already. Not interested there. Another copy of Cold Heart would be fantastic as well. Reliquary Tender already got. And then the rest of these champions aren't really doing anything for me. So far, not so good, but there's still time. 4 more to go. An Eviscerator ain't going to be doing anything good. An epic, that is good. Oh, and it's a Shamil. That's a big pull. That is a big pull. Massive for Faction Wars, massive for Hydra. Great champion for us to pick up. Like, top tier, as you can see. I don't know how this isn't a 5. Like, seriously. Who in their right mind is not ranking Shamir as a 5 on Hydra? That's a mismark, let's say. Anyway, a couple more to go. Another Painkeeper. Can't have too many Painkeepers. Fantastic champion. Useful to have double Painkeeper in one of the secret rooms. and I think even potentially I could use 2 in Faction Wars. I think this is our last shard, or maybe penultimate shard. No, that is the last one. The guaranteed Demytha is ours. We still have 13 voids left over. A bit of an awkward number. It's not going to be enough during 2x void to get a legendary tome, so we'll make a decision once 2x drops as to what we'll be doing. But what a champion. Really strong overall. Even the A1's pretty nice, does require a lot of books, so I'm really hoping not to get too many in there. Want to book out the A2 and the A3, so hopefully we can do it without wasting too many books. I don't think the books in the A1 are worth it. Always nice to have an all-battle aura, and will be really strong for Faction Wars. So I think I'm going to record a second video, or a separate video, where I give the little update on the account. There has been a number of areas where I have progressed throughout the week, so there'll be some interesting bits to include. And I also thought about doing a stream tonight where maybe I rebuilt my Nightmare Hydra team on my main account, but then I realised it was the Champions League final tonight, so I think that stream will happen tomorrow instead. So anyway, hopefully you'll be able to join me for that. A little bit of forward notice. I will stream tomorrow on the Sunday, the 11th of June, and it will be a Nightmare Hydra rebuild on the main. So as always, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.